Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying here with us at Horizon TV. This is the Muslim Insight and we are in our second segment of this session. And today our topic of discussion, like I mentioned before I took a short break, was filling the gap of skilled and semi-skilled. And in studio to discuss that matter, I am joined by Jared Ochieng, the principal, Starehe Technical Training College. Good morning, Mr. Jared.
Good morning, Zamzam.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure. Glad to have you here at Horizon TV. Feel at home. And you are the principal of Starehe Technical Training College. And our topic of discussion today is filling the gap of skilled and semi-skilled labor. As the principal, before we even continue, we are trying to see how we can address the shortage of workers with the right qualification, with the right expertise, with the right experience that meets the demands of industries and businesses. Maybe we've heard earlier this week that the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection, Dr. Alfred Muntua, mentioned or announced that there will be a recruitment process. There will be a nationwide international jobs recruitment exercise that will take place, and it has already started in Machakos County. Maybe the state of nation. I don't want to ask you the state of nation, but as per you maybe, what is your assessment of the current state of skilled and semi-skilled labor in Kenya? Are we really meeting the demands of the job market?
Well, thank you very much, Zamzam, for that. Indeed, it's very true that there is that call for international labor, which the country is going to export.
Okay.
And in my own personal assessment, I'll have to admit that to some extent, Kenya is doing very well, because the ability to export skilled labor means that it is in the international limelight, and other countries are able to actually recognize that we have the ability to produce labor which can be utilized in other sectors. I want to also note that the tertiary education specifically is responsible for that.
Okay.
And the government has done quite a lot from the very beginning to ensure that that happens. There has been a lot of reforms and a lot of development that has happened to ensure that what we produce is in line with international standards. And I want to take you back a bit to the sessional paper number 14 of 2012, which was aimed to boost enrollment by last year to at least 20%. That is the enrollment in tertiary education. So that's when our young people go to tertiary education, they are trained in such a way that they're able to compete internationally, worldwide, and also provide their services there. You also remember that in 2018, there was an initiative to produce more skilled labor through introduction of CBET. That is the competency-based educational training, which was introduced. And the aim of this generally was to ensure that what we produce in our learning institutions, that is the tertiary education, the university education, is able to compete globally. In 2012, there was a report that was produced by Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. And from that report, it was estimated that by last year, again, I mean within a period of 10 or so years, there would be at least 40% of Kenyans would be able to acquire semi-skilled education. And the semi-skilled education is now obtained through the vocational training institute. And that has so far happened because the progress that we are making is quite awesome.
Okay, talking about Kenya being in a bit, you've talked about the state of the labor in Kenya is quite okay, right? Maybe your sentiment, does it align to whatever the youths are saying? Because we can see that there are so many complaints that youths have no jobs. There is an employment crisis in Kenya.
Well, that's a good question. Zamzam, I'll say it's 50-50. You know, you have to give credit and also take away some. We are doing well, and honestly, we tend to do very well in sectors like education. You'll agree with me that we rarely import labor. When it comes to trainers in our technical institutions and the university, we don't. We're able to produce our own professors and all that. In the field of business, we're also able to progress. But when it comes to other sectors, for example, construction industry, the building industry, we are not doing very well. And that's why even when we are building the other day, the expressway, you remember the construction of this, the Thika superhighway, we had to rely on foreign companies, like now the Chinese did the expressway, and that already signals that when it comes to technological know-how as a country, we are still lagging behind. So when it comes to issues of lack of employment, yeah, it is true that in some areas, because we've not been well skilled to fit in the areas, we're not able to provide our services. And I've given that example of the construction industry, especially the roads, shipbuilding, and all that.
Now that brings me to another question concerning us Kenyans relying, or the government of Kenya relying on foreign companies as far as businesses or something else is concerned, or development of the country. Maybe you, as the principal of Starehe Technical Training College, what is the role of Starehe Technical College? What's the mission? What's its mission?
Thank you very much for that. Well, I have to state probably that our aim is to stand out. And through that, we do in guidance with our mission, which is to provide and conduct all-around quality, relevant, transformative, and innovative education through training, research, and social development to the society. So there are those pillars, like when I mention about the quality of education, we are committed to ensuring that there is quality assurance through what is trained in the classroom. The lecturer or the trainer, before attending to classes, has to prepare, because it starts from there. If the lecturer is not prepared, then we are not going to trust the content of education that's going to take place. So that is only assured through quality. There's a lot of supervision to ensure that the syllabus, the lesson preparation are in tandem. Then we have assessments, because again, you cannot measure the quality of learning that has taken place if you are not able to assess. And we have the internal assessments, and we also have the external assessments, which are very regular and are also very thorough, even in the grading that happens. Before our students complete their studies, we ensure that they mandatorily go for attachments, which we sometimes outsource for them, or through our connections, we're able to send them. And that is to ensure that whatever they have acquired in classroom is able to match the expectation in the field in terms of the skills that they're being prepared to provide. Then we also have, through now research and technology, technological advancements and embracement through research and innovation, we encourage our students to innovate. We don't spoon feed them. We don't just want them to sit in a class and rely on what the trainer is going to provide. We want them to get out there, research, conduct studies, excavate, and find out information on their own. And that is how we are able to transform this country. Like in the first question when you mentioned about the unemployment, if we are able to produce students who can learn, research on their own, then they're going to become entrepreneurs. They're going to employ themselves. They're going to come up with startup businesses and get to earn without necessarily waiting to be employed, because already we have that crisis of unemployment in the country.
Okay, talking about engaging students to do research and something like that, maybe as far as training programs are concerned, maybe what specific programs or courses do the Starehe Technical College offer to address the needs of both the skilled and the semi-skilled personnel, workers?
Thank you very much, Zamzam, for that. It's important I educate the nation that Starehe Technical Training College, which is located here in Nairobi, 10th floor, KTDA Farmers Building, Tomboya Street, is having quite a number of courses, and I want to particularly emphasize the CASNEB courses. Today, Zamzam, if you want to get some of the best accountants, then you'll probably look for the CPA holders, and we are providing that as one of our training. We have courses under CASNEB like the CPA, we have certified secretaries, we have accounting technicians, whom we are training through a program called ATD. We have CCP, that is Certified Credit Professionals, and other courses under CASNEB. The program per level goes for around 6 months, and one is able to advance and progress. And once they graduate, we feel very honored that they normally get absorbed in the job market. We also have courses that are meant to train students in communication. Remember that for any productivity, for any training to be quality, the prerequisite is a language. Even the courses that I've mentioned under CASNEB, without language, you cannot master the content. So we train our students in languages like English, as much as it's widely spoken, but we're going deeper. We also have students who are taking it as a short course just to master their speaking. We have others like German, Spanish, Italian, and even French. So when the students go for the courses that they have been enrolled to take, they've already mastered the language, and therefore gaining the skills becomes very, very easy. We also have a program now to support the vocational education through something we call RPL, that is recognition of prior learning. One challenge that we face today is that not everybody is able to access education because maybe the qualification is not matching the requirement for that course. So we have programs where somebody may not have gone to Form 4, may not have the pass to get into a course, but when you go into the community, this is the best plumber, this is the best hairdresser, this is somebody who can be a very good carpenter. This is something that the person learned without going to school. So we have those programs that we offer through CBQ, that is competency-based qualifications, a program under ICM exam body, so that we first assess what knowledge is already available, and that is what we advance now through practical. And that is to say that you are simply moving the semi-skilled to skilled. We are helping somebody who has some bit of learning, and we are modeling that person to have now some skilled labor, and that is really, really important because it is helping people now get the required level of skilled labor. Then we have the technical courses, engineering, ICT, we have the building and construction. All those courses are offered at Starehe. We also have courses in cosmetology, fashion and design, interior design, a bit of health sciences. We have business now in totality, like the accounting, business management, human resource management, supply chain, quite a number. And all this is geared towards helping the students to gain required knowledge. Maybe what I can also emphasize on that is the duration of study. They're very flexible. From as low as 6 months, somebody is able to pursue a course up to all the way to 27 months. And we also have the short skills. You know, there are those who have studied, they just want something to add. So we have the short skills courses that we are offering for less than 6 months. And that has really, really helped us.
In the current situation right now, we find that you're talking about the short courses, the short-term courses. Maybe people say, or the youth say, because you know, we like complaining much, the people who study most time, like the diploma courses, they get jobs more than those people who do degrees or masters, something like that. And something else is, there is a difference between that person who studies for a short period of time, gets job faster than the person who studies most of the time, like has taken like maybe 3 years. What could be the issue?
Great. I'm glad you brought up that concept. Honestly, as a person, as principal of Starehe Technical Training College, I would highly advocate that somebody starts from the most basic and then advance. From artisan level, then you go to certificate level, then you go to diploma level, and then move to degree. And the reason I'm saying that is because the college education is technically geared more towards practicality. If you take a student, for example, who has enrolled for a course in fashion and design, you can imagine in the artisan level, that student has been subjected to practicals, does an exam, qualifies and goes for certificate level. In the certificate level, the student gets another practical content and is moving on with the practicals. Then after 1 year or so, the student progresses to diploma. And again, under diploma, there's still a lot of practicals. So when you compare the amount of practicality of learning that has happened in a college setup, where students started from artisan to certificate to diploma, compared to somebody who went directly to the university, where from the course outline, there's theory that you're supposed to do and a bit of practical, and then the final grading, you'll realize that somebody who has gone through college education has a lot of practical know-how. And when you go into the job, they're more interested on experience. How well can you be utilized? What exactly do you know? Because we don't want to imagine of somebody getting into field, say engineering, electrical engineering, and cannot even change a bulb, cannot even do simple wiring, and that could lack if emphasis is not put on practical.
To cut you short a bit, talking about how well do you know, what experience do you have, but we have like qualification says that you must have 5 years experience. That thing kills many people.
I understand, and what I'd probably encourage is that we move away from paperwork or theoretical instructions to practicality. I'd rather, before employing, the employer ensures that the person yet to be employed is subjected to some practical, rather than just relying on what is on CV. If it is a practical interview, I'd highly advocate for that. And that's going to really help our youth, because that's where we are missing. Somebody will look for 5 years experience, but then probably it is just on paper. But practically, that has to be assessed at the time of interview.
So, you know, we find that polytechnics and technical colleges are really underrated by so many students. I cannot get a B+, I cannot get a C+, and go to a polytechnic and go to a technical college. I'd rather go to a university or maybe an institution. So what could be the reason for that?
It is the pride in, I've been to university. You know, myself, I've been to university and I've taken quite a number of years there. But, and right now, my field is now the college education. I can tell you with a lot of confidence that comparing the two levels, the college education and the university education, there's a big difference. In the university, for example, you'll be given course work, you go research, you sit a final exam, you add to the CAT, and you are graded. But now, when it comes to the college education, it's different. It's much different. There's a lot of thoroughness, and the degrading, the perception is wrong. And as a country, we've got to change that. We need to look at the quality of learning that happens. Even in terms of earning, somebody who goes to look for a job, employers nowadays look for those who've gone through TVET institutions, mid-level colleges, as opposed to the universities, for example, because they have come to learn. And remember, the government is pumping a lot of resources in supporting these institutions in terms of technological know-how. Polytechnics, for example, and colleges have a lot of equipment, practical equipment that is meant to ensure that learning is more practical. So I want to appeal to the youth and the nation that we take a lot of emphasis in they produce some of the best skilled personnel in both skilled labor and semi-skilled labor.
Okay, talking about the market demand, the industry demand, partnership, maybe how does the college with industries, sorry, how does the college collaborate with other industries to ensure that the skills being taught align with the market demands?
Thank you.
As Starehe College.
Thank you very much, Zamzam. At Starehe Technical Training College, we are very compliant, and we take note that we are regulated by national institutions like the TVET. And you'll also remember that TVET normally conducts quality assurance across all colleges to ensure that the quality of training is not compromised. And we normally welcome that so that we assessed, and we just like any other college are made to go through what is required. Number two, the type of examination bodies that we offer, we ensure that they are accredited. So that we don't train students into courses where they'll not get employed or they'll have challenges with progression. So we only offer accredited exam bodies to ensure that we also don't compromise the level of training. We also partnering with institutions like banks, supermarkets, and many other to have on-the-job training for their personnel through programs like corporate governance, leadership, and many others like that, even accounting, entrepreneurship. And through that, we're able to make a lot of progress. We also collaborate with community-based organizations and non-governmental organizations. They normally sponsor students, sometimes for specific courses. And that has really helped to empower, especially the marginalized, those who are not able to probably access education or have challenges with payment of fee. So that is one area that we really take seriously, that collaboration, and also with the regulator, which I've mentioned, to ensure that the quality is highly, highly, highly regarded. Okay.
I think you've answered some another question that I was supposed to ask about the gender inclusivity. You've talked about the marginalized group being sponsored by the NGOs, the CBOs, and something like that. Maybe to move to something else, before you answered the question I asked, you talked about, you appealed to the youth to engage, or rather enroll in technical colleges, in the artisans courses, something like that. Talking about youth employment, maybe, what initiatives are in place to ensure that, or rather to encourage more young people to take place, or rather to pursue technical and vocational training, maybe?
Great, Zamzam. One fact I have to assure you of is that Starehe Technical Training College is perhaps the most affordable college in the country. Okay. And that we did intentionally because we want to ensure that accessibility to education is very, very easy. We charge as low as 13,000 per term, a term going for 3 months. That means in a month, somebody can pay 4,000 and is able to access education. And even with that, we don't send students home for free because we take note that the urge is to get the skills, not really to frustrate the process of getting the skills. So that is the flexibility that we have to ensure that we promote the youth to enroll for the courses in our college. Okay. We also have flexible study modes. Remember, we have a lot of responsibilities. Some of us have families, some of us have work-related issues. So when it comes to study modes, we have the day programs where the classes run from 8 to 4 p.m. But a student doesn't have to be there full day. You can study for 2 hours or 4 hours and you move to other businesses. We have programs in the evening, we have programs in the weekend, and we have online classes, which we have, and we ensure that when it comes to practicals, then the students have to come, physically create some time, because that is very, very important for us. Our emphasis is on the practical content. Then we also have talent recognition. You'll agree with me that the youth love sports. They love trips. They love such things. So we have programs for that where we provide sporting activities, like trips.
The sporting activities, do you mean like for co-curriculum?
Yes.
For pleasure or something like that?
Yes.
Okay. Can it not be something that can really impact them as far as the economy on their side is concerned?
Yeah, you're right. And you know, when we talk about sporting, and probably I can add it a bit to include recreation, talent recognition. We have dancers. We have people who can recite. We have people who can really explicit and exhibit humor very well through laughter and the laugh industry. So we have those forums where we try to recognize what exactly can somebody do. And through that, we're able to tactfully convert that into a source of income. Through their talent, we first notice, like those who are taking interior design, somebody can come up with some artwork. So when we have a forum for all students, that artwork can be sold. So it is a way of also encouraging their earning. Then the final one is that we have connections for some jobs in some courses. I won't say all courses because I'll be lying, but especially in the hotel industry, students who study with us and graduate in courses like catering and accommodation, food and beverage production and service. We have connections where we can place them for job and also sometimes for attachments to encourage them. Just this year, you had the government announcing that there will be some labor requirement in Germany. We have courses that we are training. And through our connections with agencies here and there, we are also able to export these students to go and utilize their skills in the overseas. We also have some courses like the security. You've heard there's a lot of requirement in the Gulf. And we have courses that we train with the aim of connecting them to the job. So all these that we do are meant to encourage them to enroll and also to have course completion, because enrolling is one thing. You may drop out, but we are encouraging that if the issue is fee, we don't let you drop out. We persevere with you, you complete the course, because the aim is to ensure that after the program, you land into the job market.
Okay. Financial issue. That could be an issue, right, for the school, or rather a challenge. Talking about challenges, maybe, what are the biggest challenges that Kenya face in bridging the gap between skilled labor supply and the demand market, or the market demand?
Well, Zamzam, I have to regret that some of the challenges in-house and as a country we can very comfortably deal with them. For example, the cost of education is very high. I have to agree that it's very high, especially for institutions that are not supported directly by the government through funding like loans, help loans and sponsorship. So this tends to discourage enrollment. And this is the gap that, for example, we intend to bridge through offering that course in a very affordable fee. So that somebody will not say, if only I had money, I would have gone to school. Or somebody would say, my parents were not able to educate me, so I did not go to school. We are trying to bridge that gap by ensuring that every Kenyan is able to go to school, and we are not going to send them home for free. We are going to persevere with them. If we have programs that are sponsoring, we ensure that they are put on the forefront for sponsorships, so that at the end of the day, we're able to ensure that the country is moving forward, and we are supporting everybody to access that education. Then we have the competitiveness of ones. You see, for example, me, when I finished my Form 4, there was a lot of competition on what was I supposed to do. Go to the university or get a job, because already there were some companies that were asking me to join. And I had to make a very tough decision on what to do. And that is really affecting the youth today, those who want to go to study. There's that course they're supposed to take, but then there's a business that is booming somewhere, there's a program that is there, and that tends to be a challenge in terms of accessing this education. Then perhaps one of the most serious challenge is the choice of course that somebody selects. When you mention the issue of unemployment, I can assure you that there are fields where companies are just looking for who to employ. Because people who take courses that they are looking for are very few. But where do we mess up? We mess up because when we are choosing the course, we are not keen on selecting courses that are marketable, courses that are not going to make us stranded somewhere along the road. So we also need to be very keen, and those who join us at Stare Technical Training College, Tomboya Street, 10th floor, KTDA Farmers Building, we first take the initiative of advising them. Somebody can come once a course, but does not know which course to take. We advise, because through experience, we know which one you'll take. We'll lead you into the job market, which one will you take, and will stagnate you. Then we also have the issues of practical equipment. The colleges that are not sponsored by the government may have that challenge of equipment for the practicals and workshops.
So these are the challenges the institute, or rather the college, the Starehe Technical College, is really facing.
Yes, I'll say
all the all the colleges.
I'll mention generally, but let me narrow it down then to Starehe.
Okay.
Because that can also be true when it comes to equipment and practical equipment. Remember this expansion.
Okay.
Right now, we're having enrollment for January. And so far, we've received around 400 applicants who want to join the January intake alone. So when they come, definitely there's going to be a strain on the available equipment.
Okay.
And that means that as a college, we have to adjust and ensure that we obtain some finance to equip the workshops, the labs fully.
Yeah.
So that is also a challenge that is extended to other colleges due to probably financial shortage. But I can say that there's no big deal because there are some mechanisms that are in place to ensure that whenever a student enrolls, there's no justification for lack of proper training. It's upon us as the institution to look for funds, donors, and ensure that the role of the student is to study without any hindrance. And finally, one issue again, which is a challenge in the country, is the motivation for education, which is very low.
Okay.
Some people are discouraged because of unemployment. They have learned, they have read in the newspapers, they have watched on TV that there are people who went and took some serious courses and are not employed. But as I've mentioned, it's all about what you choose to do. And it's also about being disciplined with the line that you want to pursue. Because I've seen people are a bit impatient. They have taken a course in cosmetology, but they want to be employed as bankers.
Okay.
It can't work. So you have to be disciplined in whatever you've taken. Be patient. If it is taking a little more time, then start up your own business as you wait, as long as you grow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, talking about the right course to choose, that is the issue that most people face, or most of the youths who want to study face. You've mentioned about marketable courses. You say you advise these youths, or rather these students who come to enroll in the college, the type of course they can do, the marketable course. Maybe as per you, what are these marketable courses that students can engage or can enroll?
Thank you, Zamzam. Let me start from the very simplest example.
Okay.
Kenya is doing very well in the tourism industry.
Okay.
In a month like December, August, we have huge numbers of tourists flocking the coastal region and in our game parks and reserves for that touristic ventures. But when you talk about foreigners who are from France, those from Germany, those from Spain, one eminent challenge they're going to face immediately is language barrier. What if we train somebody French, German, Spanish, Chinese as a language? That is somebody who's not going to struggle because the market is already in need. Kenya as a nation, we speak English, we speak Kiswahili, but we have shortage, we have a gap in other foreign languages. So as an institution, we train foreign languages, and the aim of that is to ensure that they get jobs almost immediately. Let me give you another example of sign language, the Kenya Sign Language Interpreter. Very few people go for that.
Yeah.
But there's need for that because we have a lot of forums where we are supposed to have inclusivity and ensure that that happens.
Okay.
So that is another example, plus the technical courses.
Okay, due to time, maybe briefly give us more of the marketable courses, because if you go to details, we will not have time to discuss about that.
All right, great, fine. So let me then just list them. The marketable courses, in short, in summary, is any course that you can take and start up your own business. For example, you go to catering and accommodation, you can study the course, then open your hotel. If you take something like plumbing, you can study the course, then get employed in the construction industry.
Okay.
Every construction here in Nairobi and across the nation will need a plumber. But that is a course that many people will look at and say this is a very low paying course, yet it is one of the best. We can have engineering in general, fashion design. Even what I'm wearing has been done by a designer. So we can have people who go and practice that. So any course that somebody takes and is able to land them into the job market through own initiative, entrepreneurship, is a very good course. Yes, a very good course.
Okay, maybe to wind up, just one more thing. Your last word or your advice to people who are watching you right now, the youths, the unemployed people, something like that, as far as the technical courses are concerned.
My last word is embrace college education. Do not fear making the first step. Starehe Technical Training College is ready to welcome you. We are going to ensure that whatever you take, we advise you accordingly to take the right course. We are going to be very flexible with you in terms of your stay with us, in terms of fee payment, which is very flexible. And there's a lot of guiding and counseling that we offer, a lot of all-around training in terms of co-curricular activities, curriculum development and all that. And also the connection for jobs in some courses that are taken. And Starehe Technical Training College is welcoming all those who sat KCSE this year, those who sat in previous years and have not got placements. We have our intake coming in January, and you are welcome to enroll. Wow,
thank you so much, Mr. Jared Ochieng, for that beautiful insight on the topic, filling the gap of skilled and semi-skilled labor. What are you waiting for? You've heard him right. Engage, enroll in technical colleges. Do courses that you'll see the impact. Do courses at Starehe Technical Training College and every other colleges in Kenya, and you see the impact in your life. My name is Zamzam Ahmed. Until next Friday, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much.